Okay, so this is Dawson and Lawrence's group project. We've chosen the portrait of Emilie Flöge as our title subject. So starting off, what types of love is Klimt depicted in the painting? I would say primarily Eros and Philotia. As the title subject, Emilie Flöge seems to stare directly back into the viewer. She's got her hands on her hips. She's very open, direct, brazen, and self-confident and almost prideful, as might be represented by her dress. It's very peacock-like, representing the pride and self-confidence she possesses. As far as the love languages, I would say it's primarily an act of service and gifts from Klimt to Emilie Flöge. It's a little bit different than the other portraits he's made, as Emilie Flöge was a lifelong companion and lover of his. I think it makes it a little bit more significant than some of his other portraits, as well as that this particular portrait differs from a lot of his other ones in that she's, like I said, prideful, open, self-confident, direct, which is different than a lot of his other portraits and portraits of the time, where women are often shown as conservative, shy, very passive, and just not as direct and open as she is seen here. So as far as the painting connecting to another Klimt work, I've chosen Adele Bloch-Bauer 1 as a painting to compare it to. I would say they're similar, not only in that obviously they're both portraits of women. However, both of the title subjects seem to look directly at the viewer, like I said earlier. But I think the more interesting aspect is where they differ. So portrait of Adele, she's very, first off, her posture, she seems very closed off, maybe almost shy, not as self-confident as we see Emilie, when she's very open, taking up space. Also, Adele's skin tone, it's very pale, almost lifeless. You can see the blush cheeks, characteristic of the makeup of the day. She's covered in jewelry, and just the entire background and her dress are just covered in gold, in contrast to the portrait of Emilie, where it's very drab, plain background. There's almost no gold except for Gustav Klimt's signature. And her dress, as I said earlier, is the dress of a peacock, and her skin tone seems much more natural. So I think all of this comes together in that Emilie's almost a foil of the portrait of Adele, and that Adele's very almost parody-like, and it's over-the-top, characteristic beauty standards of high-class society in the early 20th century, whereas Emilie comes across as much more natural, self-assured, not like she's trying to impress or show off everybody, almost that she, on her own, in her natural habitat, is enough.
So I think the painting has a calm, maybe a cool, like as in like slightly darker lighting and tone to it. It seems more peaceful and tranquil, unlike some of Klimt's other paintings. And I think this is due to a lot less gold used in the painting, and a lot more of that dark, rich blue paint used in the painting. When I look at the girl in the painting, it reminds me of a girl maybe going out to a date, maybe going out to a dance, and the dark background makes me wonder, like, maybe it's nighttime. Maybe that's why they're going out. Her pose also makes her seem really proud of herself and really focused on herself. You know, she's standing up tall. She's got her hand on her hips. So I think Philotia love is depicted particularly well in that sense, if you're looking at the painting that way. The painting, like I said, is very dark, except for her face and her hands. So when you look at the painting, you are immediately drawn to look specifically at her face and her hands. And this really adds to the proud features, because the face especially being the most proud feature of the painting. The pattern of the dress seems very starry, I might say. The little specks of gold and little blocks of gold all over the place. Reminds me personally of maybe fate, maybe destiny, maybe star-crossed lovers or something. Makes me think maybe Romeo and Juliet, or maybe Eros love, depicted in that sense if you look at the painting in that kind of way, where you might say destiny or fate is there. So I think the painting is fairly clear when I think of it depicting eros or philauti of love. I think it clearly focuses on those two types of love. The woman is obviously posed in a way to make herself seem more glamorous or noticeable. That really shows off the philauti of love aspect. And the dress is a rich dark blue, which I think is representative of a deeper, richer, and committed relationship akin to eros love. When I think of a light baby blue color, maybe, I think of more of a childish love. This really reflects the fact that Gustav Klimt was in a relationship with Emilie Flöge, a fairly long-lasting one at that. And like I said previously, the dress is also covered in what looks like stars, which I think could signify fate or destiny, which in turn could mean maybe she's in a committed relationship or possibly is going to be in a committed relationship in the near future. So thank you all for watching our short analysis of Gustav Klimt's painting, Emilie Flöge.